Hi everyone, this is Dawn Winters and you are watching the Writing for Doctoral Studies series online. This is the video on how to make an APA table in Microsoft Office. I have a feeling that this is going to be an often watched video. I'm going to take you through this step by step. As you can see, I've started with a blank Word document and in front of me is my table that I'm going to construct and my APA manual. On page 129 there's a great kind of annotated table to show you exactly what you need to construct, what it is you're constructing. After that page, there's also different report out and factor, like a factor loadings table, different statistical tables that you might have in your own research, and you might need a little bit more instruction on. The APA manual is a great source. So, like I said, I've decided to start with a blank Word document. This might be something that you're starting with. My suggestion, my first tip to you is to start with a blank Word document and don't try to add a table directly into your writing. It's a lot easier to cut and paste a table into writing than it is to create one as you're typing. So for my own dissertation, I did tables in separate Word documents so I could make sure the formatting was okay, and then I just dropped them in simply where I wanted them into my writing. In a different video, I'm going to show you how to do a table of contents, a table of tables, well, 3 different videos: table of contents, table of tables, and table of figures. The latter 2 are pretty very similar to make, but you will have to worry about that for your dissertation. Make sure you're labeling your tables correctly. In this video, it's more about how to set up the formatting, not so much about how to make sure that you can get it into a table of contents or into a table of tables, so to speak. One disclaimer: what I am doing is completely fabricated, so the table that we will finish with is not real. Please do not use it in your research. I completely made it up just for the purpose of this video, so again, please do not use this in your research. So what I'm going to start off with, and this is again what I would do in my own writing and in my own research, is you're going to insert a table. Now, if you already have in mind how many rows and columns you need, that's great. If you don't, that's fine too, I promise you. So it's very easy to add in rows and to add in columns once you've started off. So I do know that I'm going to need 3 columns. I don't know how many rows. So we're just going to start there. What's really a simple way to do this is to include everything in the body and then just the body of the table, and then eliminate your bars, so to make sure that everything is in line. So if you try to put the title of the table above here and then you cut and paste it into your writing, it's going to absorb that into your writing. So what I like to do is you can highlight here, you can right click and merge your cells. So here's where I'm going to put the title: number of students taking the ACT or SAT by state, South 2010, 11. Okay, now I can already see that I've made a typing error and that I need to change the font to match my own writing. Okay, now per APA, the title is going to go in italics, so we'll italicize that. Go ahead and do that. And we're going to need here state, ACT, SAT. And we know that this needs to be centered, so we're going to put that here. Now I'm going to list my states. Okay, now I need some more. So you're going to hover in the body of it. You're going to hover over when you see this. You can kind of plug in more. So I got Louisiana, Mississippi, and Virginia. Now, what I'm also going to do, you may not have notes as a part of your table, but if you do need to insert a note at the bottom, don't insert it below. Again, just like the title, just go ahead and insert it within the body of the table. It will be a lot easier for you in the end. So here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to merge my cells, because Virginia is my last one. Over here, note. Okay, so it needs to be smaller. Now I've got my note in. Now this is all pre-centered, so I'm just going to insert my numbers. And we're going to make up numbers. These are going to be small, but for speed sake, we're going to just enter in, which here you need a comma. Okay, so now I have my data all put in here. Now, obviously, it's not to where we need it to be. So what you're going to do first is space some of these top portions out. So it's okay for the data to be close in here in the body of it, but for this, you're going to want it to be a little bit more spaced out. So you just simply grab it. Now wait for that top arrow, bottom arrow to show up. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here to make sure that you can see it on your screen. So I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for when the arrow goes like that, and that way I can just stretch it all the way down or all the way up. So you're just going to want to create a little bit of space in there. Same with this one, to indicate that these are the titles. Now notice, nothing is bold in your table. So I know as an aesthetic myself, I like to make sure things look a certain way, especially in a table, but you're really following the APA guidelines as far as what's bold, what's italicized, and where the lines are. Now, as you can see, you've got space down here, but you want to make sure that everything is centered. We're going to give a little bit more space up here. So what you're going to do is, for here, highlight again, right-click, go to Table Properties, Cell, and make sure it's at the center. And now it's centered from top to bottom as well. Now, our lines are all wrong. So what we're going to do is go up here to Table Tools, and you're going to really want to focus on Borders or Border Painter. Now, we know that here in the center, we don't need any borders. So we are going to go to Borders, No Border. Okay, now we have a borderless center, but we still don't have perfect borders. Up here, we know that there's no top border. So we're going to go No Borders, re-highlight, bottom border. For here, borders, well, we could also say top border and bottom border. So now we have those two borders there at the top. Now, if we were to have sub lines, so let's say we were to break these down by boys scores and girls scores, or female and male scores, then you would need to have a separate line that denotes the subheading within your headings here. We don't, however, have that. That would be pretty easy to do. We would just add another column with the scores and then manipulate the borders. what I find, and it's easier for you if you're entering in numbers, if you can't simply cut and paste a graph from another source, you're converting your SPSS graphs over to a Microsoft Word graph, and it's a short one, and you really don't want to mess with the conversion. You want to type it all in. Start off with your grid lines first. We also need to take the borders off of this one, and then you can simply add a top border. So here we have our nice APA table without the borders and pretty spaced out. This is a very basic table. You may have tables that run a number of pages. You may have subheaders within tables. I find the easiest thing to do is get all of your data in and then manipulate your borders, which is really the key to making a nice APA table, are those borders. Make sure that everything else is equally spaced in between, and make sure your columns, and this happened to me, make sure your columns are wide enough not to cut off any state names or any kind of thing, any kind of data in each column. Make sure that you're allowing for a full range of your data. This has been my video on how to make an APA table in Microsoft Word. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've learned something. Thank you.